Coming to you live from my apartment, it's Rob Has a Podcast. And now here's the guy who's uploading to the Propsty a 5G Wi-Fi account. I'm Rob Cesternino. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Rob Has a Podcast. And we have a great interview for you today as we talk about Survivor 48, episode number 2. And we are blessed to have with us the great Tevin Davis. Tevin, how are you?
I'm blessed. I love a good I'm blessed. I love a good blessed. So I woke up this morning. So everything else is I don't have a bell to ding, but I'm here.
Okay. Well, Tevin, I rang the bell for you. I'm so happy that you're here. And yeah, the blessing is ours to have you here because we had so much fun talking about Survivor 47. I was so thrilled that you came back to talk with us again. How are you besides being blessed?
Well, that's the top. There's nothing above blessed. But other than that, I'm good. Life is good. I'm happy, healthy. Can't complain about nothing. Me and Kamala still running deep. You see, I got her on my shirt right here. Let me be very.
I was gonna say nothing. You can complain anything.
Listen. Kamala is we are her and I are having a good time out here in the streets, and life is good. Life is good.
Yes. Okay. Well, Tevin, we got a fun episode of Survivor to talk about with a brand new cast of characters. How has the transition been for you to go from being a Survivor player to alumni over the last year?
It's so and it's crazy because it's almost it's past the day now, but almost a year exactly. And it's like so much is like changed in life. And I feel like it happened so quick. It was just us this time last year. And now we're on the second season after our season. So I'm already like head spinning about that already. But I mean, I got to meet some amazing people. I got to meet amazing, fans. I got to meet people who have played this game. The Queen Sandra and Boston Robin, like all these amazing people that I've got.
Where'd you meet them all?
Well, I went
Florida?
to I went to Florida. But I had met Sandra a few times before because I think I met her for the first time in a Bryce and Wynn event in LA. I think that's when I first met her. I might have met her before then, but I did all the flying around. When I went through 2024 and looked at what I did and put each month together for my little January post of this year, I was in the sky every month. I was somewhere. I was at the watch parties. I was at the events. I was doing it. I'm not doing that as much this time, but I feel like it's exciting right after yours because it's like we just did it, and now for the first time we get to watch them play, but we know what it's like because we've done it, and so I've had that experience, and I think life has definitely changed, and I view the game completely different. A year later, so it's really interesting.
Tevin, what did Boston Rob say to you when you met Boston Rob?
Well, I met him. I was with Mike Turner and I was with Jonathan Young when I met him. And so Jonathan was like, you gotta meet Mr. Rob. You gotta meet Mr. Rob. And he got the blonde locks like this. Gotta meet Mr. Rob. And I was like, okay. So I walked up and I was like, hey, Boston Rob. And I think we took a picture first. I think they were just like, let's take a picture. Because we're in Florida. So everyone was like, oh my God, look at all these people together. So flashes everywhere. And what did he say? I think I was in such a state of shock. I think it might have been that. I was in such a state of shock, like, because this is Boston Rob, and I was like, this is Boston Rob. And so I don't actually remember what was said. But
Jonathan says you're a good guy.
That might be what it is. I wanted him to say,
I want to talk to you about Andy Griffith.
I just wanted him to say Amber. That's all I wanted. AMBUH. I wanted to hear Amber in person. He didn't say it, but I needed to hear Amber. Maybe next time.
Okay. All right. Well, we've got a lot of great stuff coming your way, including my conversation here with Tevin today. But of course, Wednesday night, we had the know-it-alls. I got to speak with not Tevin, but Kevin this morning.
The first Kevin. We got Tevin before Kevin. But now
Kevin before Kevin. And of course, my day was the opposite. It was Kevin before Tevin today on Thursday.
whole thing. I know.
Still
I
great.
know.
Still great. Then later on this week, I'll talk with Sophie Clark. That we've added an old school interview every single week here on RHAP. So check that really fun one with T-Bird, which is still evergreen. You could still listen to T-Bird's thoughts on this cast as well. And then I'll do Club Condo on Monday. It's all we know survivor.com. If you miss any of it, okay. But Tevin, let's talk about Survivor 48. Here we are. And this was a wild tribal council and this tribe. You know, it's interesting that you were part of a very successful tribe that was dysfunctional. This is a dysfunctional tribe that is unsuccessful. What was the difference between your tribe and this Vula tribe?
Well, we had a hunter, so that's just first and foremost. But I think even though Nami was so, and what's funny is that I wrote down in my notes when looking at this episode, I was like, if we were to go to tribal, we were going to look just like that. The way that they look in tribal council was exactly how Nami was going to look. But I think even though we were dysfunctional, when it came to those challenges, we locked in. So like whatever problems was going on, for the most part, we just communicated well, and the challenges was what they were executed, and we put the right people in the right places. And I don't know that this tribe necessarily is doing that, or something isn't lining up.
Is it giving Hunter too much credit to say that it was because Hunter was telling everybody where to be on the right places, or was there more to it?
Well, no, I don't think Hunter, he wasn't necessarily orchestrating what we were doing. I think we all decided collectively together, this is where these people need to be. I know Hunter and I both together tried to be, the front, like for the lizard challenge or whatever. We did a lot of strength stuff. But I definitely know that at the end, Hunter would clinch it. So even if we were behind, Hunter has the ability to just catch up and be like, you know what, y'all thought y'all was gonna win, but now it's Nami. So I do think that he had a great hand in making sure that we succeeded no matter what in clinching it. But when it came to the whole challenge, because people always look at a challenge and look at who concludes it and thinks that is the person that gets it, and it's true. But there's a long journey to get to the end. And so Hunter clinched it, but we all worked, we were unified to get to the end so that he could clinch it. So, and I think somewhere with Vula, they can't get to the end like this certain challenge that they did to even get somebody to clinch it.
Okay. It's been Say who's been really dictating how this tribe ends up going in these tribal councils. Do you feel like, from Say's perspective, that the right move was to get rid of Kevin, who, while he did say her name, maybe could be more of a help in the challenges?
Yeah, I think so, but it feels like now in the new era that people aren't necessarily concerned about the nuances of what you're working towards as you get deeper into the game. It's like if you breathe too hard, you're playing and you got to go. And but her name was said, so it wasn't just that simple. But I think you do have to be wary about when somebody is saying your name, and if they said it once, they'll say it again. And so you kind of do have to mitigate that. And I think that she did that, and she did it well. If they're gone, they can't say your name again. So
yeah, is helping in the challenges even a factor that players think about in the new era?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think,
and I know you didn't go to any tribal councils before the merge.
Right. That's true. But I think that's a detriment too. But that's a whole nother comment. I think I might have said that in our last meeting. I feel like you got to go. I think you got to go.
Well, they're listening to you, Tevin. They're like, hey, we are following the Tevin plan. We're going to tribal.
We got to go. We got to go. Now, I don't know about going back to back. I didn't say that. I didn't say do that. But that's what's going on here. But I don't know that people necessarily think about the challenges as much. I think that they rely on alliances and trying to build stuff that can save them even if they do go. I don't think anybody wants to go, but I think that there might be a miscommunication when it comes to the game about how people think about tribe strength.
I was talking about this with Steven yesterday about how all the players in that tribe all had like interesting decisions to make. I guess maybe with the exception of Mary, who was sort of like, I don't have a vote. I'm sort of like at the mercy of everybody else. Did any player from that group, did their decision surprise you in the way that they approached that tribal council?
Mm. Um, n- they're just so chaotic. I don't even know. Like, say it shocked me, but it didn't actually. When Jeff was like, "So, where you want to start?" and Say was just like, "Let's just get down to the brass tacks. Four of us good, Mary, you gone." And like she did that last time. She basically was telling people, "Hey, I, we let's just vote this way and let's just call it what it is." And there's really not any smoothness, like Mary mentioned. There's no smoothness to it. But it didn't really shock me. But I think Kevin saying, you outed us, and then Say's come back to that and being like, well, what am I outing? If we are on the same page, there's nothing really to out, and kind of catching him in this little thing that he, this gameplay that he's trying to make. And I think she kind of clocked him in that. So I don't know. I just thought the whole thing was dysfunctional from top to bottom of Tribal. It was like chaotic central.
Was there anybody in that group that you felt like that you could relate to? Who's the Tevin in this group?
That's a good question. Um, I don't know. I don't know that Tevin is in there. I'm trying to think through everybody. I don't know that he's in there. I mean, maybe like well, not even, I can't even say. I don't know who Tevin is in that group. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good, Rob. That is a good question.
Well, I don't. I'm
Who you
just
think
trying.
I am, Rob?
Well, I'm wondering. Are you Justin?
Huh. I guess. Okay. Give me more. Unpack that for me.
I guess that, I mean, we saw that you had, close relationships with Hunter and with Soda, and then you had to probably make some, difficult decisions in terms of the group that you were working with. So sort of like I really felt like that Justin in a lot of ways was kind of like the swing of the tribe, where yes, Say was really like the most vocal person calling the shots, but I think it was really Justin who had to pull the trigger on what ultimately happened with that group.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. I did.
If Justin says no, I'm not voting Kevin. Like, it has to be Mary. I think Mary goes home.
Right. Yeah. Now that you say it and put in that perspective, I definitely see that. And he said as much as, Cedric. He was like, "Listen, we have the power. Like, we get to kind of choose how we want to go about this." And it was very interesting. And I almost wondered about, like, could Say have even could she have slipped by without playing her idol? Because it ended up going the way that she thought. But I think that they also saw the way that our season went home with those idols, and that probably had a big influence too. Being like, you know what, safe than sorry. I'll play it. I need to see tomorrow because no need to hold on to it.
I'd love to get your thoughts on Say and what her trajectory is in the game, because I think that she's such an interesting player. And I think that in the new era, especially, I do feel like these like bigger, bolder personalities have a lot of weight in terms of the game, because I think a lot of players come in and are a little bit playing conservatively. And I think that somebody who's like, okay, I'm going to let them make the mistake. But I think there's a lot of power in that she can really make the waves that she wants to make.
Yeah, I think so. I think people in the new era don't know what to do with Say. They don't know what to do with a Q. They are so chaotic that like you said, you want them to bulldoze their way through because then they're going to get in trouble. But the problem is you let them bulldoze so much that nobody does anything, and before you know it, they're still here at the end of the game, and all of you have gone home. That's exactly what Q did, and he made it all the way to final six, being as chaotic as possible. So I think had Say and Q, existed in Pearl Islands, it'd be a different game. Like they would exist in a whole different space. But I just think people are trying to play conservative, and that kind of backfires on them. But I think that Say's the thing I'm worried about is the cockiness that comes with having power and not spending time to make genuine connection and playing the social game, which is what this game is at its core, can cost you down the road. And I don't know
Yeah.
that she has enough, maybe other than Cedric, which I think she's kind of sussing him out too, which we can probably get to that in a minute. But I don't know. I'm worried about her social ability.
Well, Tevin, I would put Rome in that category also of
Oh,
another
Rome. I forget.
person that
Rome. Yep.
people are like, oh, I don't want to get on their bad side, and they're doing the most. I'm going to let them do what they're doing, and then we'll wait for them to make a mistake. And Q got, very far with that in your season. Rome ended up where, he probably pushed it too far, and everybody sort of like united and said, okay, that's it. We're all gonna, draw a line in the sand. We're all gonna vote out Rome. But what do you think happens to Say?
I don't know. I think that I don't know what's gonna happen to Say. I'm really rooting for Say. I really am. I actually really like Say. And I'm rooting for her. And I just think that if she does not lock in though to that social ability in the game, and because she says like, this is just me though. Like I say what I feel and it comes out organically and raw, and that's what it is, and that's fine by me. But I don't know that the people on that beach are going to tolerate that much more. And now she's played her idol, so now her hand is kind of exposed.
Yeah. So let me float my theory to you on what the difference between, maybe what Q was able to do and what Rome ultimately wasn't able to do is that I think that Q had a better social game. And as somebody who played with Q's very likable. Q is having fun. Q's like, hey, everybody, let's do an activity. Let's make the Q skirt. Q's funny. That I don't know if they were entertained by Rome in the same way. And I think if Say is going to make a deep run, she's got to get her social game going better to where people are really enjoying her company.
That's it. Because the whole thing about it is, people get power in the game, and then they seem like they want to, buck their chest out a little bit, but you really need to like take the spotlight off of you. And I feel like as soon as she got that idol, as soon as she started, making moves, she was like, all right, well, I got power. Let's go. I'm playing the game hard. Let's go. But you don't want that kind of attention on you, especially it's like day, I don't know what, 5. It's early.
Day 5.
So you have a long way to go. So she got to really focus in and lock in and try to make some genuine bonds that aren't rooted in what can I do for you? What can you do for me? But truly like, let's well, that is kind of what you need to do, but I think she just needs to build a little bit more solidified social webs in order to secure herself so that she's likable, because I think right now people are making decisions about her based on the power that she has and not based on that they want Say to say bars. But I don't know that they necessarily need her to stay, and you have to want somebody to stay. You want people to want you to stay is what you need.
Yeah. And Say has done a good job with Cedric. Cedric feels very warmly towards Say. He was really willing to stick his neck out to keep her in the game. So she's doing a good job with him. But her and Mary have this back and forth. And is that relatable at all, Tevin?
The whole thing about it is like you can play this game and you don't have to align with everybody. And so for some reason, Mary and Say don't see eye to eye. But I thought that, at Tribal, when Mary mentioned, she said, I think Jeff asked her, well, do you think you can move past this if y'all are both here tomorrow? And Mary said, I actually don't think so. And I thought that was a little bit short-sighted, because you don't give up until your torch is out. And so if y'all are there, you don't want to say we can't work this out, because you just keep the target there. But if you can turn this, fiery thing y'all got going on into actual combustible gameplay that can work together, now you got something that's working. So
I just like, I don't know. And maybe I'm at the point with Survivor where it's like up is down and down is up. But I really think that in the game, I think that the biggest superpower is authenticity. And I think that people crave it. And it's, why we've seen, players like Carolyn who are, uniquely authentic, that they do so well, because people are like, okay, I can trust this person. And I
Right.
feel like that Mary, even though she is like, I would never work with you, say, she's not somebody who is like going to be fake and phony at tribal council. And I don't know if Justin or Cedric are going to look at her any differently, but I feel like, all right, Mary's a straight shooter. Like if Mary
Yeah.
says like something, like we could take it to the bank. Mary is somebody who we can count on.
That's true. But it's like, what do you do, when, and because if it comes down to it, let's say, Vula gets, knocked out and it's just those two, do you, I don't know. It is, this game is so hard. I just think that you can use everybody, but Mary is such a straight shooter, which maybe that's why they don't see eye to eye, because both of them are straight shooters, and they don't mesh because of that.
Well, I will add at the beginning of the episode, after the tribal council, that Mary, I feel like, was trying to say, hey, I wasn't expecting my name, or say that I wasn't expecting my name. And I think Mary was trying to get over it and says like, I hold grudges. But by the end of the episode, Mary seemed like she was more the one of like, hey, like, I'm not going to work with Say.
Yeah, but I mean, even in that moment, that was the first second that I went, you know what? Maybe that's why they're bumping heads like this, because when Say was like, no, it's fine, and Mary, out of her mouth, I thought it was like a confessional for a minute, and I looked at the screen, I saw she actually said it right then, and she was like, I don't know about that. I don't actually know that you're okay with it. And I was like, for her to vocally say that, she's not scared about letting her feelings and what she's thinking as well come out. So I like that about Mary, and I'm so interested to see how they salve or not. Now that both of them are there, coincidentally, they made it through. So now what do y'all do with that information?
I don't know. And it seems like that this tribe is in just such dire straits in terms of that. I don't see how they're not headed back to another tribal council.
I don't see it either. I have no idea. But I mean, stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. Yanu did win at some point. So at some point,
when
Yanu
there was
won.
a tribe swap, Tevin. Right? Am I thinking of the wrong season?
Oh God, no!
Wait,
no,
no, okay. Yeah,
they won on their own.
All right. So in your season, they won on. They finally won, and they sent Charlie and Maria's tribe to tribal council.
But what sent me about that was the power that you said that with. That really sent me. But no.
You know what? I got to be honest, Tevin. Like all these tribe names in the new era do blend together for me.
They do.
Like so, I thought we were talking about the Caleb and Emily's tribe from season 45 for a second.
No, we talk about 46.
46.
But
yeah. Was there something different that happened in that for Yanu to finally win one?
I mean, they kind of got the excess out of the way. So sometimes it's like, well, if you keep losing, you feel like you're losing strength, and we lost Kevin or whatever. But sometimes it's not so much about the physical strength as much as it is the emotional strength. And so I think that once Yanu kind of got some of the people that they feel like were bogging them down a little bit, they opened themselves up to actually connect with one another, Kenzie, Tiffany, and Q. And then they, made a pretty good run together as a trio. So if Vula can get the whatever they deem as excess out of the way, they might actually lock in and start really pulling some weight.
Okay, we'll see. Yeah, I guess the stranger things have happened on Survivor, but I don't feel too great about it, Tevin.
They might switch tribes. You never know. I mean, they might switch, and then they may not go back because that tribe is no more next week. Who knows what they will do?
Let me ask you a little bit about Kevin, because Kevin was somebody who I came into the game. I think a lot of people thought Kevin, okay, this guy could win. This guy is a total package. And ultimately, he ends up going out second. And I thought that it was interesting that, he went on this journey of like he did the challenge. They call it the Fight for Supplies challenge. And I do feel like that when I think about the players that have done this so far in 2 seasons of Asia, TK, Kevin, like it hasn't gone great for them. I feel like that there might be something to this of like, it's not just like Sweat versus Savvy that, okay, you're on the beach and you're just separated, but people can at least see you. Like you leave, like I think this is really bad for the players.
Yeah, I think it is. And it's so much, wait, but it reminds me of, oh, what season is that? It's an old school. Well, they used to do it a lot back in the day of like, one person has to go off and be like, are you gonna choose, to go
Hmm.
get an idol, or are you gonna go,
Get
get
rice.
get rights for your people? Yeah, and then they have to decide, and then the tribe comes back and they're like, what the hey, you didn't. So it puts a lot of weight on one person, which puts a huge spotlight on you when it's already a small 6-person
Yeah.
tribe. So there's nowhere to hide, and so you have to do well,
But
or
Kevin won. TK won. And they both ended up going out early.
right. So, but I thought with Kevin too, like, because I did, the Bryce and Win. I did a podcast with them a couple weeks ago, I think, and
To preview the season.
yeah, and so the I said when I was looking at Kevin's stuff, because I think in one of his entries he said something like he wanted to play like Caleb, and he was a model for Abercrombie, I think, and Fitch, and his smile and
Hmm.
charm, and I was like, I don't know, because that smile just might get you in trouble, and you might lead with it, and miss the grimaces behind you, and so I think that's what happened, but yeah,
Can
it's
I
interesting
ask you
that
about that?
they
What do you
go
mean
and
by
win.
the grimaces behind you?
I mean that you're smiling and enjoying life and being like, let's be happy and joyful and cheerful, and that joy is blinding you to the shadows that are accumulating behind you to say, let's actually target him. Let's actually get that person out. They think that they have a grip on what's going on here, but let's get them up out of here. So but it is interesting that they won and then go home. It's like, so is it that the players feel like, oh, they accomplished that thing, so they're playing like, I feel like new era, everything that you do is playing hard, and that's what I was mentioning earlier. Like, if you breathe too much in one direction, you're playing too
Hmm.
hard and you got to go, and people aren't thinking about,
Yep.
well, if you get rid of that person that's playing hard, who's the next person that's playing hard? What does that do for you? What is that? Who is the next target after that? Or I don't know, you breathe too hard and you're gone.
Yeah. So I talked to Kevin this morning, and in the exit interview, he was talking about how he was just sort of like thinking ahead in terms of like, okay, this tribe is not doing so hot. And okay,
Mm.
we could vote out Mary tonight, but if we go to tribal council again, I'm next. And so I think that his like internal clock was sped up a little bit in that, okay, I am one person away from getting voted out of the tribe. I'm
Mm.
4 out of 4 in that 4-person alliance that I'm in. So the only way for me to save myself is to make a play to save Mary tonight and get Say out.
Yeah. I just think it's always like, and I just thought it when they started editing it, I was like, oh my God, it's gonna be Kevin. I was so sad. But it's like, sometimes you're safe, like sometimes you're good, and sometimes the paranoia
Yeah.
makes you then do stuff that then gets you sent home, which is why the day that I went home, it kind of looked like I was just kind of like lackadaisical at camp, but I felt like it could have been me, but I didn't want that paranoia to make me start running around the beach, so that then people would put it on me if it wasn't. And
Yeah.
so sometimes people get so spooked that they try to make a play or make a move and try to get it away from them so they can save themselves. But now you put yourself in danger. And he wasn't in a danger, position to
Yeah.
begin.
He would have been fine if he didn't say anything about trying to get Say out of the game. Do
Right.
you think in the pre-merge, is it too early to be thinking about the next vote, or do you feel like that he was right to think that way based off of how this tribe is going?
No, I don't. And I feel like Jeff says this too. You cannot start to think about 3 days from now, because you ain't got to worry about 3 days if you can't make it to the next hour. So
Yeah.
you have to like really go day by day and like step by step. Say had an idol. Say could be like, you know what? I need this idol for when there's 13 people left in the game. But you have to play that idol when you feel like you're about to go home, because the idol doesn't matter if you don't make it. So I think it is all about preserving your spot for today and then adapting to what that may cause tomorrow. So you may feel like you could go home in a couple days, but that's a couple days. Stay tonight and then
Yeah.
figure out how to get out of it when that day gets here.
I think that's a really good point, especially in the new era. I think it's so unpredictable. You have no idea what could happen. I mean, even look at like in your tribe that you could have a medical evacuation. There could be, any number of different things that could happen and completely alter the landscape of the game. I think that it's very hard to be thinking ahead, even to the next tribal council. Like, I think that going back to, you know, Queen Sandra that you met, anybody but me is not the worst way to play the pre-merge.
That's it. Sandra will tell you in a heartbeat, look, I don't care who we got to vote, long as it ain't me, I'm good. And like that, I love when she does that. And Kevin said that, you know, I think it was that the last episode of this one. In either the last one or this one, he was like, listen, it ain't me, I'm good. And I was like, great, just stay the course until you absolutely have to make a move. And I felt like he kind of squandered that a little bit, unfortunately. But yeah, I wanted Kevin to stay. I was really rooting for Kevin. I wanted Kevin to go.
Yeah, he seemed like a really nice guy, and when I talked to him this morning, he seemed like that, you know, he's having you know, a hard time with you know, with it all. He was so excited to be there, and then, you know, it's a disappointment if it doesn't go your way.
But here's the thing, and I hope that, you know, he watches this, because Kevin, if you do, hi, I love you. But I think that it doesn't matter if you go out first or if you win the game. I think that everyone that plays this game needs to be super proud of what they do and how far that they got, even if it's, you know, 3 days, because it takes a lot of work to get out there. It takes a lot of work once you get there, and it takes a lot of work to watch it after you've been there. And so that is like, you are one of, I don't know, 800 people that have played this game. And so it is such a beautiful badge of honor to have been there, and to even have Jeff say the tribe has spoken to you. So I wear my exit with a badge of honor. And I hope that, you know, Kevin and Steph and all those people just know that they really have done something extraordinary, no matter where they place.
Yeah, I really think that that's the right attitude that you have to have, because I could tell you, you know, a whole bunch of people that have won the game and they have nothing but like negative experiences to talk about. So you really have to, you know, reframe what like, there's a win in anything that you can take from this experience. And I think that the challenge is sometimes to find it, but it's there if you go looking for it.
Yeah, it's definitely there. And but that's my whole story. I'm just like, listen, if I wake up in the morning and like everything is good, you can find a way to turn something into sunshine and rainbows if you just, you know, put the effort in. But also, that's not to say to wash away your experience either. So if Kevin is like, listen, this is a struggle to watch back, take that time, but remember that you are great too. So I think you can hold both.
Okay. I want to talk about the Lagi tribe, because I think that this is another interesting group. We saw that's purple. Yeah.
Purple. Okay.
Okay. See, it's not so easy to know all the tribe names.
It's hard. It takes me a minute to get comfortable with names, and like but I'm getting it.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there too. 2 weeks in. But okay, we had Star was sort of the odd person out last week, and then of course, you know, perfect survivor poetry. The person who's on the outs finds the idol, and now she has the beware advantage, and she starts to enlist help. No pun intended. Just to get some help from the group, and here she is. But I would love to get your take on how all the other players are approaching this situation with Star.
I love Star. I was worried about her when it started, because for the opening preview stuff, it felt like she was gonna be wow. And she doesn't feel that way with the tribe. I think she has energy, and she, you know, has a little spunk, but she's not as chaotic as I thought that she was going to be. But I also, I didn't. It takes 5 seconds for somebody got to be on the bottom. Somebody's on the outs. It doesn't matter what you do. Somebody got to be on the bottom, and somebody got to go home. And so they've established that it's Star. For me, you know, Thomas said something like, you know, oh, I've been waiting for you to come up to me. I've been waiting for you to open up. And for me, my interpretation of that was like, well, I think it's easier for them to open up to Star than it would be for Star to open up to them, because I can say from my experience, it is difficult to be in a space where nobody looks like you, and you have to then try to integrate into that. And so everybody else there has somebody that looks like them, and they can kind of relate and you know, shoot the, you know what, and Star doesn't really have that. And so I think that her being on the bottom and them kind of you know, instantly wanted her to go, I was like, oh no, this is like breaking my heart. It's like really, really breaking my heart. I did hate though, also everybody knows about her advantage. Like
Yes.
everybody knows about
Well,
it now.
Tim, can I ask you a little bit more about that with Star? Because I'm like Jeff on the mat talking to Mitch. Like, let me know if I'm
Yeah.
asking about this correctly.
Yeah.
But I feel like that for Say had Cedric on the tribe,
Yes.
and then you had where Kevin is going to other people and saying like, hey, let's go and take out Say, and you had Cedric, and they had a
Yep.
connection, and Cedric like went to bat for Say and told her to play her idol. And for Star, she doesn't have that on her tribe.
I'm glad that is exactly that is perfect. I thought about that. And so it is important to have somebody like that can look out for you. And it doesn't have to be somebody that looks like you. Anybody could have done that, for her, but it is such a specific experience for Cedric and Say and for Black people to have somebody else that understands the culture, the weight, and the way in which we navigate as a people. And I think that what it is in the game, because it is a microcosm of real life, I don't think that tribe was like, well, let's just get Say out because she doesn't look like us. That's not what's happening. But I think that unconsciously people, gravitate to what they recognize and they leave behind what they don't. And they don't recognize Star, and so they've left her behind.
Yeah.
And she needs
Cedric,
to be where they can see her.
Cedric said that she reminds me of my daughter.
Of my daughter. Yeah. So it's important. It's important to have that. And like I said, Star does not. And so for her to be on the outs and then to watch them kind of try to get her, on top of that, it's just kind of like, pounding on it and pounding on it, pounding on it. I'm like, oh my God, I wish I could just help you, and I can't. But then I love that she's the one that found the advantage. In fact, all three tribes, it was a Black person that found each one of those advantages, which I was like, okay, Black excellence. But and we'll get to them handing it over and having somebody else do it for them in a moment, I'm sure. But I'm so happy that she found the advantage and then turned her, bad luck into instant good luck.
Well, I guess we'll see. Because Star,
we will see.
Yeah, so Star really starts off a little bit on the back foot, and we saw where there was the conversation where Eva says we want you to sit out of the challenge, which ultimately Star did end up sitting out of the challenge. But I feel like maybe they could have come in first. Eva sank a bunch of the basketballs, but Star's also a basketball player. It might have been good to have her there in that challenge, but we saw that, Star ends up recruiting some help from Joe, from Shaheen, and ultimately, and Thomas and Bianca too.
Yeah, I mean, the whole tribe knows that you have this thing, and you were trying to keep it from Ava, but there was no way. Like, you're playing Survivor, there's no way that you can tell everybody and then Ava will not find out about it. So you might as well just sat the tribe down and been like, hey, I got this thing, let's just decode it together. So everybody knows about it now, but the danger is that you cannot use this thing that you have effectively not anymore, because now everybody knows you got it. So now people are trying to circumvent you from using it the proper way if they need to, because they know that you have it, when you could have used it as a sneak attack to circumvent what they got going on. So now by you telling them, you've kind of given your power over to them, over the idol or advantage that you are supposed to have.
Yeah. I think it's going to be interesting for Star. Like, the Star needs to get this thing unlocked. That once Star has that, and it's like, hey, guess what? I'm not going home. I've got the thing. I'm going to the tribal council, and I'm not going home. You all figure something else out. Like, I think that could be the opening that she needs of like, okay, well, now this group of 5 that seems very tight, suddenly they got to figure something out.
Yeah, something gotta happen. But if they, I don't know what they're gonna do. Shaheen gives me hope. I think he's gonna, help, because the whole thing about it is, and I'm glad that he thought, I was like, oh, you are a brilliant player, because it is short-sighted for somebody to see people on the bottom, for people to see someone on the bottom and to say, that's the easy person, let's get them out, rather than recruiting somebody who has nowhere else to go and saying, let's actually shake this up, because now I'm going to get your loyalty because you have nobody else to give it to. Yeah. And Shaheen did that.
Yeah, and I think he's a smart player, because I think that, Joe has his person, is Eva,
Yeah.
And Thomas has his person as Bianca. And
Yeah.
Shaheen, he has the California girls, the three guys,
Yeah.
but he doesn't have a sub alliance. He doesn't have like a person in his back pocket. And
Right.
I think that him and Star could end up being that duo from that tribe that ultimately, if everybody, it's a weird tribe. Like the guys are together, but each of the guys has like a sub alliance.
Yeah. It's so. I hope that tribe doesn't implode. It kind of gives like the great, but I think it could hit a boiling point, and I think that it might just fracture.
Could that be the Nami tribe of this season?
I think so. I think so. And they put this little piece in of Shaheen saying, "Yeah, I don't think we're gonna hear Jeff say whatever some tribal council thing or give us whatever he said. We're not gonna hear that." And I was like. That was weird. That's suspicious. So I don't know, but they might just implode. But I hope that Shaheen and Star can come together and make some stuff shake and get that thing unlocked, and then make it. Which I also love that each one of those cryptograms is like different. And they have different words to open
but
them.
They got the hardest one. They
got the hardest one because the other two you had to just find the letters, but to put a map up to the animal to figure out what letter that looks like, and then that's crazy.
And we know because we've seen these letters on the other tribes that it's an L, and Shaheen thinks it's a V.
A V. It's a V. I'm like. Oh God, oh God, I don't know what they gonna do, but I'm like, it's L. I'm like screaming at the TV, it's an L, it's an L, it's an L, clear the way, like it's an L. But they're just not getting it. So, but I imagine that it is difficult when you don't know what to look for. Like we are kind of fed the information, obviously, but
we've seen it 3 times.
Yeah,
Tevin, if you were part of this tribe, and let's say you were somebody who didn't want Star to have the hidden immunity idol, how would you have handled this situation?
My question is, and I don't know if you know this, if somebody finds a beware advantage, hands it to me and says, you figure this out, and willingly has given it to me, that person gets voted off. Can I keep said beware advantage? Or do they take it?
I don't think so, because I mean, isn't that what happened with Randon and Venus? That if when Randon had found the thing, or I guess did he tell Venus where the thing was, and then what? And then a hunter ended up finding the beware advantage.
They probably redistributed that. I don't remember exactly how that went, but they probably don't let you do that then. Because my thought was like, if you have willingly given it up. I feel like Randon said he was trying to, but maybe he couldn't in time. I don't remember, but I thought if you were willing to give it, if you willingly given it, gave it to somebody, could they? Then
I don't know if you like bequeath the beware advantage to somebody, and then do they get to keep it? I really.
The people will figure it out in the comments, and they'll.
I'm sure that they have like the rules for what this was, and I don't remember if Randon had told Venus the clue like verbally, but he didn't give her the clue, and because he got voted out with it, then Hunter ended up finding the beware advantage. And it's also interesting because that we see when people play the idol, then they hide like a plain idol. It's not going to be a new beware advantage that's going to be at the camp that Say and Mary are at.
Right. So, so I don't know about that then, but my first thought was like, if she gave it to me and I'm like, okay, well, then just get her out and then I'll keep it and then, do it myself. But I think that he hasn't made a decision yet, but the best course of action, I think, is to utilize Star to use her loyalty that she is going to give to you and you give to her by helping her open this thing because she's on the bottom and going for it that way. I think Thomas's idea of destroying it and that setting off alarm bells for Shaheen was a great clock. And I think that is a dangerous player to be around. And I would not have done that. I certainly would have helped, Star, but I'm also coming at it from a different lens of like, I see Star and I'm like, I want to help. And so, but I would have done what Shaheen did.
Yeah, I think that for Thomas, that was easy to say. He doesn't really have the skin in the game of he's not going to be the person that has to go back to Star and be like, oh, I lost the thing. Where was it? So like it would have been easy for Thomas to do that, but for Shaheen, I think he sees the benefit of like, okay, but then I could be tight with all this isn't all of a sudden the person that is on the bottom. I could be like have a solid alliance with the person that has the idol.
That's it. That's it. And
this could be partially my idol.
Yeah, I mean,
she's gonna owe me one.
That's the thing. Like all of these idols that have been opened, I'm like, if I particularly when Kamilla, which I want to call her Kamala so bad because her name is kind of spelled like it would say Kamala,
Close.
but it's Kamilla. But if I open this up, I want to keep it. It would be hard for me to do all the work to open up something for you and then to hand it over to you. And I watched with my Aunt Gogo last night, and my Aunt Gogo is the one that watched Survivor from the beginning. She got me on it. She is the person that super fan of it, and me and her sit in the same spots that we sat in from the beginning and watched Survivor together, even to this day. And last night when we watched it, she said when Kyle got that idol, he shook it. He was like, I got an idol. And she was like, well, listen, finding it and solving it is two different things. And I said, bingo. I said, now you thinking like a Survivor player. And that is true. So, it is hard for me to wrap my brain around somebody has solved the entire puzzle for you. And then it still, is yours. Granted, but like you're saying, it kind of partially becomes mine if we use it together. But it's just, I don't know. It just feels like you work so hard to open it for somebody. I kind of like, I want it.
Yeah. When it's not you doing the thing, everybody always talks such a big game. My wife is like, you tell them, go screw themselves. Like, all right. I'm the person that has to talk to this person. Like,
right.
This is easy for you to say,
right.
As the puppet master.
Correct.
But, it's tough to actually then go back and do the thing and then face Star and tell her what you did to the idol. But yeah, Tevin, could you tell me, how did Aunt Gogo react to watching you on Survivor?
There's a video of her watching the trailer for the first time on my social media somewhere, but I told her when I first got the call when they were like, you're going, and so the next day I went to go watch Survivor that night, and then at the end of the episode I told her, and she exploded, ran around screaming. She cried. She hugged me. She was like, oh my gosh. She called everybody she knew. It was like, he's going. And then to watch it on the big screen, she was like, oh my God. She was like shaking, waiting for me to pop up. And when the trailer popped up and, it was this big, stay positive, test negative, and then a damn buff, when all that happened, she was like out of her skin because we had been watching it for like, I don't know, 10, 12 years together. She's been watching since day one. I caught up later. She got me on it. And I kept saying, I'm going to apply. I never did it. And then I said, I'm going to do it. I sat in the same spot I sit in to watch the episodes with her still, the little red chair she got. I applied. I sent it off. And we just kind of joked about it. And so when it finally came to fruition, I think she was so outside of her body with excitement, disbelief, and also just like love for me that she was gone. She was on a different planet.
Should they start the new season with Zoom calls from the most excited loved ones, finding out, like telling Aunt Gogo you're going to be on the show?
Yes. That moment goes down.
Well, you had a great opening to your season, to be fair.
To be fair, yes. To be fair, it was a pretty epic moment. But I think you if we're not going to get loved ones visits, I think anything that can connect me to a person's family that way is exciting as a fan to watch and as a player to have played. I think when you can integrate the people that have gotten me to this spot and the love that they have for me, watching me do this thing, in addition to my own joy, I think that's such a specific and beautiful thing to wrap into this game. So I would love it. I really want them to fly out there and to do loved ones visits. That's what I envision.
Okay. Maybe that'll be on the vote for season 50.
It might be. I hope it is.
Okay. I want to ask you about the journey that we saw last night. I know you went on the journey famously with Jelinski and Maria. It seemed like that the players, they had this new way of picking who goes on the journey. Can you remind us, how did you get picked to go on the journey?
We used our shot in the dark and rolled it, and then whoever
Yeah.
symbol came up is who went, which was kind of the democratic way to do it.
Yeah. Did you like the way that they did it with this little game that they came up with?
No, no.
Why not?
What it does is that I think it takes the stakes off of the players. So we voted democratically. So we didn't go, we didn't volunteer. We didn't choose somebody. We let the dice decide. But we also decided as a group that we were going to let democracy go that way. But I think that there's so much strategy that goes into how someone goes on a journey. Who's going to volunteer? Did they volunteer? Who feels like they're on the bottom? Are we going to, let this person go so we can get them gone, so we can figure out how to get them away? Do we need to send our person off so that they can hopefully get an advantage to bring back for the alliance? Like, I feel like it strips away the group consciousness that goes into the decision making on who goes to the journey by deciding randomly by chance.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think it was quite randomly, because I thought that there was a couple things I liked about it. One, I like that it involved like some strategy. So if there's multiple people that wanted to go, that you had this like, oh, do I put a 1? Do I put a 2? Do I put a 3 maybe? Like, because I got to try to get the lowest unique number. But what I also liked about it was, hey, I don't want to go on the journey. I'm throwing down a 5. I don't want any part of it. So I felt like that it like was an elegant way for some players to just opt out. Maybe I'll put a 4. I don't want people to think I really don't want to go. But I think it really gave, because sometimes there are players that are like, I don't want to go on the journey, and they end up going on the journey and they lost their vote. Like, I didn't even want it to be here.
That
so I like
is
that part of it.
That's an interesting take on it. Because I guess my thought was, why wouldn't you just why does this thumb keep coming up? That's so hilarious. But my thought about it was, why wouldn't you just throw a 1? Like, just throw a 1. But I guess everybody would throw a 1, and that would kind of complicate things. So, but that is interesting how you put it.
But maybe everybody's thinking, oh, everybody's going to throw a 1. I better not throw a 1. But if you're the one person who does throw a 1, yeah.
Right. So that is an interesting way that you put that. I kind of thought that they were kind of taking away the ability for people to, strategize on who gets to go. Now, what I will say is that I don't blame Say for being a little upset about the decision for them to practice. I'm like, why are we practicing? Let's just do it. And she did say as much, and nobody said anything. Like, there's no need to practice, because it just gives insight as to what people are going to do. So let's just do it raw, and let's just get
raw
down
dog
to it.
The boat game.
You say it again.
Raw dog the boat game.
Oh my God, this is the second podcast that I've done where somebody has mentioned raw dog. Oh my goodness.
What was the first one?
James said it in the
James Jones.
Yes. He was like, what are you talking about? He said something about raw dogging, and then I was in a room with a dog, and as soon as he said it, the dog was like, oh, and I was like, y'all hear the dog make noise? The dog wants no parts of this. So I don't know what he was talking about, but he said raw dog, and it all went south. So it's just the second time I've heard it in 2 weeks, and it's just very interesting.
Okay. So you feel like the guys should have had Say's back?
I think so, because she did say, I feel really good about this. And then nobody said anything. Like, they were like, let's practice. And she was like, no, let's just do it. And then they didn't say anything, and then they just did it. And so it did feel like, from her perspective, that they were just going to do it. And for me, I'm like, well, if we go practice, what's the point of practice? Like, let's just do it. And then I think if y'all really rock with me, then, and y'all want Mary out, then yes, stick behind me and let me go so that she doesn't go, so that we can get her out, unless y'all are lying to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you have my back, like, who cares about the rules?
Yeah, let me go. Like, I don't understand what you all are doing. But again, I think that, I don't blame her for the way she feels. But in the game, you have to be aware of social dynamics. Yeah. And you can't be so, strong. And Cedric was like, can you conceal your emotions? And she's like, of course. Yeah, that's easy. I haven't seen evidence of it yet. Yeah. So she has to mitigate some of that, I think, to
Kevin,
really go further.
That partially sunk Kevin when he was like very okay with Mary being the person to go, where Say is like, hey, idiots, this is the worst case scenario. And she could probably tell. Kevin was like, no, this is cool. This is fine if Mary goes to the thing.
Yeah, I think she clocks all that. And I think that paired with
Say is keeping score.
She's definitely keeping say is keeping all the score. And so between that, his challenge performance, which we will get to, and then him running around the beach saying her name, all three of those things, that's 3 strikes, and you don't get 4. So he was gone.
So the players went on the journey, and I felt like that in your season, and we've talked about this before, that you and Maria made a real bond on the journey. It seemed like on this episode, the players did not really have a chance to talk. Do you feel like that the players got to talk for a little while and they just cut it out of the episode because nothing happened?
I don't think that they did. I think that they kind of just got right down to it. They might have said a couple things, but it probably wasn't as significant, or they would have put it in there, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. The only thing that they really said, which was weird, Thomas was like, y'all want to do it? I'm like, is it optional? Like, do y'all have to collectively decide?
I think they have to do it. You put one finger out. You're there.
Yeah, you got to go. He's like, y'all want to do it? I'm like, I think you have to. So yeah, but I don't think that they got to talk, and I think that it is a mistake to have that advantage to be there with different people and not say something, not find out what's going on at the other tribes, not find out some dynamics, not find out, hey, how are y'all feeling? Should we maybe build something for later down the road? Like, I think it's a mistake to just go in and go out.
Nobody having a meltdown like Banu.
Listen, you don't know. Maybe they did. They just didn't show it. But that was a moment. Banu needed God. Banu said, God, please. And I understand that, because sometimes you go through life and you just sit there and you just like, things ain't going right. God, please.
Yeah, and then he struck down Randon.
He struck that. Listen, God, he may not come when you want him. Oh, yeah. But he'll be there right on time. And so, unfortunately, the lightning bolt struck Randon in the arm, right in the shoulder. But, the potato.
Yeah. How would Randon have done, Tevin? He's like such a mystery to us. That was Randon like going to be a big factor in Survivor 46?
I think so. I was excited me and Randon, the day that he went home. Well, I don't know if it was the day he went home, but actually, I know it wasn't. But one early morning, everybody was asleep, and Randon and I had a great conversation on the beach. He shared some, vital information with me about what was actually going on at camp and who was doing what and what factions were developing. And we had kind of made a little bond about like, let's do it. Like, he wanted to play with people who were playing the game and who were willing to play all the way to the end. And if he gets beaten, because I think Randon, and I think this comes from like his his background and his job, but he is loyal to the core. And so he wanted to play the game with people who were playing, and he was going to rock with that. And if he lost at the end, it was going to be an honorable loss, even if he knows the people he went with could beat him, but it was honorable. And so I was looking forward to playing with Randon throughout the game. And I think that his pulse on the game was great. I think that his social ability was pretty good, and I think that his strategy was very good. So I think he would have done very well and would have changed the whole dynamic of Nami had he stayed.
With this journey, I really feel like it was fine, but the best journey, I think, of the new era was the one that you went on. I really thought that was the best game that they played, because I thought it told us so much about the players, and like everybody had a role to play. Yeah. And you had to commit to it, or, there was going to be consequences for you. And it was kind of, lucky with what card that you drew, but there were real stakes, and you had to really play against the other players, as opposed to 3 different people each doing a puzzle, which, is fine. But I really felt like that the one that you did was like the players are playing against each other. And do you trust the person, or do you have to call them out as a liar?
Right. And
on day 2,
it gives you a solid opportunity to try to bond with these people or not, to decide what kind of game you may have going forward if y'all, integrate later on down the road, hopefully at merge or whatever. So, which was nice. And it also added an extra element, because we didn't know whether or not we lost our vote or got an extra vote until tribal. So Maria then has another step where she gets to decide privately once we leave whether or not she even believes us. So now we don't even know if what we did worked. And so when you go back, you could be lying or you could be, but it is the truth. Like we don't know what's going to happen. And so it kind of gives you the freedom to play it how you want to and puts the onus on the player to make the decision as opposed to the game to make the decision for you, whether or not you can get it.
All right. We haven't talked too much about the other tribe, the Siva tribe. We talked briefly about Kyle and Kamilla. How are you feeling about this group?
I think that I love Mitch. I just do. I just really do love Mitch. I love the editing that they did for this tribe of them, because on TV is made for erasing irregularity. TV is made for propping up the perfect and the image of what things should be. And so to see them edit this, scene together of them talking about all of their idiosyncrasies and like all their different weirdness and how things are messed up. I want to see oh God, Charity and Dee have a toe off. I want to see the Dee Charity foot show. Not like that, but just
I think a lot of people might. Yeah.
Yeah, they might, but the both of them have very interesting toe and feet compositions. Dee can like pick up a Bud Light, with her second toe because it's so long. Like she has gripping toes. She said this. She talked about this. So Charity has like the Velociraptor toes, and then Dee has the grippers. And so I would love to see them compete with that. But I really genuinely loved watching them share their weirdness together. So I think that they have bonded in a way that is genuine, and that I think that tribe could stay locked in for a while.
Yeah. Is this unusual for a tribe to, be this close so soon? Did you find that you were sharing things and having things shared with you that people would not normally share, like under a very short period of time?
I mean, not so it's unusual for the whole tribe because I don't subscribe to the thing that everybody has to get along. Like you just don't. We're all different people. But so that's unusual. But I think that there's pockets of it. And so with like me, I shared some, stuff with Randon. I shared, private things with Soda. I shared private things with Hunter. So like I had moments where you do bond with people in such a deep way that you feel like I can trust you. I can tell you this thing that is harboring, that I'm harboring or whatever, because you do, bond pretty quickly. But for a whole tribe to feel that open, and for Mitch to feel open enough to come back and say, hey, guess what? I won. I can block somebody's vote, and to be open enough and genuine enough to have that, and for everyone to collectively be on board that, we love Mitch and we support him, and it is unusual, and I enjoy it. I enjoy watching it. Now I think that it could crumble. And I think that David is going to be the reason that it does. I think that
okay, that's interesting.
He's going to be the reason that it falls apart.
Why?
David, I don't know what he's trying to do, but he's in danger. Molly, you're in danger, girl, because he's meaty.
What are you seeing?
He's meaty. Like he is just meaty. And in this new era, you breathe wrong and you're on the outs. And I think that him being
what did you say? You said he's needy?
Meaty. He's Incredible Hulk, like meaty, like Thor's older brother, like Jonathan Young's, first cousin, like meaty.
Yeah.
And so I think it's easy, with him being out there, because by a long shot, he is the most built person out there. And so, it's easy for him to be, a target. And so I don't know if he's trying to, put targets on other people before it comes to him. Or I don't exactly know what his thought process is yet. But I think that when he mentioned, Mitch is playing really hard, I'm like, Mitch hasn't really done anything. Mitch, up to this point, Mitch hasn't really done anything that's too hard. And so I think he has this thing where he is trying to prove that he's great. And he mentioned about like, I need to show the world how good I am at this, or how good I am. And I think that statement let me know that he is trying to outplay himself. And when you try to outplay yourself, you will get outplayed by others. And so I think he is trying to build a faction to tear apart, Charity and Mitch. But I think the people are rallied behind, Mitch. I think they will rally behind Mitch, and I think that the gavel might fall on him before it falls on somebody else. So I don't know. He seems to be the point of contention that is making other people feel like, you know what? Yeah, Mitch is playing really hard. Yeah.
Yep. Well, okay, I want to ask you a tricky question about Mitch, because I feel like that Mitch came into the season and, he has this great underdog story, but the underdog is, doing a lot of incredible things, that he's beloved. He has that great moment on the mat with Jeff that we got to see in the episode. We saw him sink 5 baskets in a row. He goes on the journey. He aces the puzzle. At what point has Mitch gone from an underdog to the person that we can't let this guy get anywhere near the final 3?
Right. That's the danger. And I think he has racked that up. Now, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I think at the moment that David said, hey, Mitch is playing too hard, I think that was before all that other stuff happened. So by the end of the episode, Mitch's threat level soared. And so now he didn't sunk those baskets and all the things that you just mentioned. So now it's a choice of, how do we go forward with this? Do we let him, be a target because he is a big one and let him stay there and protect us from, me from going home? Or do we mitigate that? So it's a fine line.
But I almost feel like he's not going to be a good, that you said David is very meaty, but I feel like that Mitch, that if you go to the merge with Mitch, are they voting out Mitch first? Like, I feel like that they're probably not.
Right. Because you would think that David is gonna, score, and he's a stunt person, and Jeff, was like a stunt move. I don't remember if David announced that he's a stunt performer.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I'm like, hey, did Jeff blow up? I'm sure that Jeff didn't. Like, I'm sure Jeff is like is very careful about everything.
Right.
Like, I don't think it's ever happened in the history of the show where Jeff reveals somebody's job that they wow, like Katora with a great legal maneuver. Like, he's never he's never going to out somebody's job that hasn't done it. So but we just didn't see it in the show.
Right. But for us, because we know what he does, to hear stunt, it triggered, I was like, oh my God, he said stunt. He said stunt. So it was shocking for, to hear that. But of course, I don't think anybody else would, because he did do a stunt. He flipped and I was like, what's happening? But yeah, I don't know. You never can tell what people are going to do. It's different every season. It's different. Every player is different. And so I don't know yet what these players prioritize. Do they prioritize getting out people who they think are going to be socially, dominant in regards to how we beloved them, like Mitch, and we need to get rid of that person? Or is it David is very thick and we scared that he might really consume us like protein when it comes to these challenges, that these individual challenges? Like, what do we do with this? So I don't know yet what they would do. I don't know what the collective conscious is going to be about that. But I do think that David is running a high risk of being so vocal about wanting to prove something that's gonna terminate his game earlier than he wants, I think.
Do you think this tribe will go to tribal council first? Let me say.
I don't know. I think that it's a higher chance for Vula to go before the other two go. So I think if Vula keeps the trend up, which so far the data is showing that Vula will probably go back, that they may not go. If they do go and they have to make a decision, I worry for Mitch, because I think that David has put the seed into the other 3, Kyle, Chrissy, and who was the other person? Yeah. That Mitch is a problem, him and Charity. So I think it's going to be between them.
Tevin, last week that David said that he has 3 questions that he uses to get everything he needs to know from people. What kind of car do you drive? What's your favorite movie, and how do you like your steak cooked? First off, do you agree with David's 3 questions?
I don't want to open up this. We're going to go there. I think anybody who eats a steak that is below, I'm going to say it again. Anybody who eats a steak that is below medium well need to be institutionalized. That's just me.
Okay.
I don't want, and they're like, well, you're no. And I had a whole discussion about this on Blue Sky with somebody. They were like, no chef is going to cook your steak well done or medium well. They think like medium rare is like the way you need to do it. And I'm like, I don't want to hear the cow moo. I don't want to see the gushing red sea that comes out of the steak when I cut it. I need it well done. And for me, when I cook steak, I cook it well done. And it's as tender as the medium rare for me, because I know how to tenderize, moisturize, and marinate as the steak. So I don't know. So
Okay.
I agree. I agree with his steak assessment. The car, I don't know, because a lot of rich people drive hoopties, and that's how they stay rich. So you don't know what somebody got going on about the car. And the favorite movie, I'm half and half on that. I'm half and half on that, on the movie one.
What's your favorite movie?
Shrek.
Shrek. Okay.
Shrek 1 is my nostalgic favorite. Shrek 2 is a banger. Shrek 3, all right. All right.
Yeah.
Shrek 4. Shrek 5.
Wait, hold on. Shrek. That's good or that's bad?
No. Shrek 3 is where they should have stopped. No, Shrek 2 is where they should have stopped. Shrek 3 is like, let's stop. Shrek 4.
But
now
Tevin, this is the new era Shrek.
Oh my God. Shrek, no. I don't want a new era Shrek. It's so bad and so awful.
It's dangerous fun for Shrek.
Shrek is so bad. Have you seen the images of the new one?
What did they do to Shrek?
Everything. The animation looks worse in 2025 than it does in 2001. It looks awful. He looks like he's got a brow lift. He looks like he has gotten a cheek reduction.
Let Shrek live. Don't body shame.
No, Shrek needs the whole Shrek. No.
Shrek got a glow up, Tevin.
Now you saying I'm Shrek shaming. Shrek is Shrek, and Fiona took the.
Okay, tell me what's wrong here? What's wrong with Shrek?
I'm so sure. Oh my God! Not you! No, you did not. Look at this. Donkey looks like he's been electrocuted today.
Mm-hmm.
Donkey looks electrocuted today.
Yeah.
He had 3 children. I don't know who this woman is. I guess that's one of the babies, but where are the other 2 babies?
Zendaya in the new Shrek?
Zendaya is the teenage mutant ninja turtle over there. That's Zendaya. That's her character. That's her. And
4 tickets to Challengers, please.
Can you imagine? So Donkey looks electrocuted. The Gen Z warrior Zendaya over there is one of the 3 babies. I don't know what the other 2 are. Maybe they in college and she dropped out. Fiona looks a mess. The ear, I don't even know. It looks like Photoshop ear through the. What is this face? Does she have teeth? I don't know. I'm concerned about her.
She should get veneers.
Maybe. Well, I don't know if she has anything. It's given gums. It's given just gums. So maybe she's old and just she has gums. And Shrek, his eyebrows he just looks like brow lift. The cheek reduction. It's giving filtered. He looks a mess. It looks like AI. It looks like.
Is that what they did?
It looks like they went and said, ChatGPT, make me a green character similar to Shrek, but not for the new era, Gen Z appropriate, also with a spunky flair, dynamic, enter. And that popped up and they went, boom, Shrek 5.
Okay. When does Shrek 5 come out?
At the end of this year, I think. It's May 2025, November. Wicked, I don't know. Maybe.
Well,
I don't know.
Green people are hot.
Green people are hot right now. And so they were like, oh, Wicked.
They're having a moment.
Oh, so everybody's so excited because Elphaba looks so good in Wicked with the green. Watch this.
Time to bring back Shrek, baby.
Time to bring Shrek back, baby. Full face like this.
December 2026. So right around the time we'll be talking about the Survivor 51 finale, we'll be talking about, will you come back for the Shrek 5 movie recap, Tevin?
Did you say December 2026?
Yes.
Oh my God. I don't even care about the movie no more. I'm just going to go watch the first one and the second one and pretend that nothing comes after that. I hate this. So you can tell a lot about me by my passion for Shrek. So maybe there's something to movies telling you something about a person. Again, if you eat a steak above medium well, institutionalized. Cars don't tell you nothing. Movies do. That's my thought.
Tevin, I have some questions for you from the listeners. Let me start off and ask you a question of, okay, Hartley wants to know, as a player, how did you hide your emotions, especially during tense moments? Did your acting background help? What a great question from Hartley Jaffine.
Yes, it's two things. So one, it's specific for me because I'm an actor, and so I know how to turn on a dime, how to improv in a second, and how to turn something into something else. Now, I didn't always do that because I was trying to be authentic and so and genuine as I am, and so if I felt something, I might say it and be like, "Hey, I told Soda to her face, I can't trust you. I don't trust this," and I was very vulnerable about that. But my acting helped me navigate it. But also, living in this country as somebody that looks like me, I have to go through life every day knowing how to like code switch on a dime and in different circumstances. So it is just innate in life to know how to hold my emotions because my emotions coming out is different than somebody else's emotions coming out. Liz can have a temper tantrum, and if I have one, it reads completely different. So I have to know how to mitigate that because I know what the perception outside could be.
Yeah. That's so interesting. Did that come up in any way in Survivor 46?
Yeah, I mean, I do think that, there was a time where, I did have a conversation with Venus about like, I think she said, well, can we, call me out, if I do something, call me out when we had a long conversation about everything. And she was like, call me out, call me out. And I was saying, I can't call you out in public. I have to pull you aside because when I call somebody out in public, it reads differently being a black man, than it would for, you to call me out in public. Like it's different. And so I think that it did come up, for that instance, that I can recall right now. So, and I think that, I'm not alone in that. I think that that's kind of across the board with, the black players that have played. We understand that there's a social game happening in the social game that we have to be conscious of during the game.
Now, is that on the island or is that in the eyes of the viewers who are watching the show?
I think both. I think it's both. So maybe it's a game within a game within a game. It's like it's a three-layered cake, really. But it's certainly the people. Right. It's the people there, and then it's the people that are going to be watching. And it's just the nature of the game, as well. So, but I think because I have to do that, it's natural. So somebody says something, I just know how to take it and just go forward. But I think also I am just a specific joyous person, and so I don't have outbursts of emotions. I don't react that way. I think, I process, and then I let my words speak what I need to say.
Okay, your tightest ally ultimately in the game was Hunter. And I'd like to talk about some of the partnerships in the game. How did you identify that Hunter was, besides that you both like Andy Griffith, how did you identify that Hunter was the perfect partner for you to be working with in Survivor?
Before, what I guess people didn't see is that when Hunter and I, we were already building the ship. Like we were already getting the shelter together. We were hunting for food. Like we had started, as soon as we got there, we started working. Like, let's get our tribe together. And so when we went off to go get vines to tie, to build our shelter and stuff, Hunter asked me like about singing. And then I found out that, he teaches at this school and that, he loves God and that the singing actually that it's a part of their ministry, it's a part of the education that they do there, and like their devotion to God. So when we started talking about religion, that was the lead in, and I was like, okay, I didn't know, because I thought me and Hunter would get along. When I saw him on my tribe, I was like, damn, I did not want this man on my tribe, because I thought for sure he was going to be the most straight, toxic, masculine depiction of what I thought he was going to be, and that my energy and how I exist was not going to vibe with him. And it was the complete opposite. We bonded over God immediately, and I went boom. And so we just kind of locked in immediately over faith. And then Andy Griffith happened, and then all of it just felt right. It just felt right.
Okay, so Jeff has said this is going to be a season of partnerships, and some of the partnerships are going to work, and some of the partnerships are not going to work. Can you give us a little bit of your thoughts on some of the duos we're seeing already in Survivor 48? And I can throw them at you if that would be easier.
It might be, but I'm gonna start here. Kamilla and Kyle, I think that her opening up that beware advantage for him really cemented something special for them, and I love that they've come together, because I wasn't sure where Kamilla existed like in the dynamic, and I felt like she was kind of just out there. But I think now she has a pretty secure spot, so I think that they could be good if they stay the course and like they really lean on each other. I'm hoping that Star and Shaheen come together and make that duo. I think that could be strong. I love Mitch and Charity. I think that is a very genuine. So out of all of them, so let me redact a little bit. I think that my favorite is Charity and Mitch, because it is rooted in authenticity and genuine humanness. So there's the game, and then there's who they are as people, and you can't break that. And then to go along with that is Ava and Joe, another genuine, authentic, rooted in humanity type of alliance. That's not going to break. And so I don't know that Kamilla and Kyle are necessarily bonded that way yet, but those two that I just mentioned are.
So Tevin, you're saying that people who have a bond that's over, something, some type of like their, an emotional human bond is stronger than the people who maybe just have like, hey, we get along, we like the same movie. That's a tighter alliance, the human connection.
That's it. That's what it's all about, and that's why Hunter and I were so close, and why he felt willing to run around the beach, though he should have came and told me, but that's neither over there. But he felt comfortable to run around the beach to try to save me, because we had that connection, and it was rooted in our faith, and that is a deep part of our human experience. Those people are sharing things that are part of their human experience, and so it is less likely for that to break than it is for other duos to break, because they're based on contingency of you've done this for me, and so these other people have bonded not because of anything other than I see you as a human, and that's beautiful and strong for their game.
Okay, question from Gibble.
Hey, Gibble.
When Kyle gave his idol to Kamilla and she unlocked the cryptics, would she be wrong to take that idol for herself? Now Aunt Gogo says no problem there, but should she do that? Can she do that?
I don't know, but I think I wrote, let me look. I think I actually wrote it down in my notes, and I said, like,
when Mama J had that idol, she didn't give it back to Austin.
I know. Like, you don't have to. I don't think you have to. So the whole thing about it is, like, it would be hard for me to have done that work, because she was scratching letters into her sandy, dirty, dusty thigh to unscramble this word. Like that, it wasn't even like she gave him clues and like he figured it out. She did the entire thing. So would it have been dirty? Sure. But also, what are you gonna do about it? I mean, if she wanted to be dirty, I have an idol. So if I want you to go home, or anybody else, I'm gonna do that. But I think it's smarter for her to utilize her ability and loyalty to garner something. Because my hot take on it is that you don't ever have to use an idol to actually use it. She doesn't need the idol to use the idol. It can save you from going home if you're going home. That's obvious. But I think
that's what a lot of people on your season thought of, that I don't have to use the idol to have the idol.
That's fair. That's fair. But if you do it right, I did not do that. I call that the Tevin curse because right after I went, everybody
That was
behind me
right.
went.
You set it into
Everybody
motion.
behind me went without their idols. But I think it in my brain, if you do it right, you can build bonds with people. Because I didn't use my extra vote. I never used it. I went home with it, but it wouldn't have worked if I used it anyways. I could have burned it, but whatever. But I built relationships, and I used it as a means for connecting with other people and trying to, like Star said, you want a cookie? I'll give you a cookie. So you can use it as a vantage point. You just got to use it right. And if you do need to play it, you need to play it. I think that's where my season messed up. I think they used it to build stuff, but then they didn't follow through when it was necessary to use it.
Okay.
So she can still use it, though she doesn't have it.
The girl who married TV wants to know, I really enjoyed Tevin on the pod last season, but I need to know Tevin's humble trait. Tevin, do you have a humble trait?
What is my humble trait? I don't have any. I'm trying to think of all the things they talked about. I'm like, I don't have any like weird.
Have you ever heard that phrase before? A humble trait?
I had heard it before.
Yeah, I never heard that before.
I had used it. Yeah, to God humbles you with something. I don't know. I don't have like a weird physical thing on my body that's like, other than like I said, my thumb. I did have like a hernia, but I got it removed before I played. So when I was in the I went and got it surgically removed. It's a hereditary in my stomach, and it was just like I had like a outie.
Yeah.
So now I have an innie.
My son had that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got mine laparoscopically removed, and so now it's gone. But I don't have anything that's like I'm humble, but I don't have a humble trait, like a physical part of my body that is like decrepit. I don't have like gripping toes like D and Charity.
Okay. All right. And then Survivor Neurotic says, how do you feel that Loggy compares to Nami? Do you see Star being in a similar position to Venus? And what do you believe is Star's best option to rebound from being on the bottom?
I can see that similarity there. And again, and this is why I prefaced earlier, like I don't know, they didn't show why Star is on the bottom. Like I don't, from my perspective, I don't really see why that is. But you ask the players, and they may be like, well, we first got here and Star was, do, and this is why, Star ended up being on the bottom. So, but I think that it definitely has a similar tone to it. And I think it's also poetic of, her being the one that finds the beware advantage, and Venus finding the beware advantage, and getting that, and like having some say. So I think that the thing to draw from it is like, don't ever count yourself out. And I don't think that Star is Star. I think I said, did I say a minute ago? I feel like I said say. But maybe I didn't. But
we say
Star,
say so many times.
Yeah,
it's hard to keep track.
They say so. I'm like, I don't know if I'm talking about the action or the person.
Yeah.
But I think that Star can get out of this, and I think that Shaheen is her way out. I think that Shaheen is going to flip that game around. Well, the beware advantage too, the idol, if she gets it. But I think that her and Shaheen are going to flip that dynamic around.
Star and Venus, both celestial objects.
Yes.
You see in the night sky.
Yeah. That's true too. I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that, but yes.
Yeah.
So that's another common thing that's
don't tell Say we're talking about the stars though.
Let's just leave the stars alone. I said that. I was like, Star was back at camp. Like, now how did I get thrown into this? They just battling back and forth about stars. Like, what is going on here? But yeah, that was an interesting tribal council too.
Yeah.
Say says whatever.
Do you feel like astrological signs are important on Survivor?
I subscribe to them a little bit, and they're fun to like bond over, and like I do hear people talk about their traits, and they're like, I'm exactly like that, and they'll read me and be like, are you a Taurus? And I'm like, yes, and then they'll read me down exactly who I am. I'm like, that's so weird that you know that, but I don't think that it matters unless you have people that care about it, like Say, who probably based some of her decision on after hearing, oh, you're an air sign. If people believe in it, then they're like, oh, well, we can't work together then. So they may base their whole game off of this astrological thing, but I don't think that it has too much to do with the game unless you care.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's interesting, but I don't know enough about it, Tevin.
I don't listen. Somebody got to tell me. I know about Taurus, but I don't know Capricorn's desires and weak
Yeah.
compatibility with
Tell
Virgos.
David my first car was a Ford Taurus.
Oh, what does that mean,
I don't
Rob?
know.
Oh, I don't know. We need to do it. We need to get David to do a reading on you. He needs to do a reading and see what that means.
You do a reading. Okay. So, Tevin, I had one other idea to spring on you here today because I don't know if you saw that they had a Survivor 50 fan vote in the hands of the fans. They're letting the fans decide a bunch of things about Survivor 50. Did you get to see the fan vote last week?
I did.
Okay. So the fan vote has, first off, the fan vote has closed. I found out that, okay, so basically this was the first set of things we're going to get to vote on. The voting has closed. We are conducting our own exit polling here at Rob Has a Podcast. If you want to vote in our exit vote and tell us how you voted, go to robhasawebsite.com/S50 exit poll. We're trying to conduct very accurate exit polling on all this stuff. But Tevin, I know that you are, in addition to being such a fun, talented Survivor player, also one of maybe the most, short of Maya Rudolph, the world's most, second most renowned Kamala Harris impersonator.
That's true. She's right here. Let me be clear, right?
Okay. So, Tevin, I thought it might be fun since you do such a great impersonation that could we channel Kamala to weigh in on her positions on the Survivor 50 fan vote? Do you think that we could do that?
I think she's always ready, right? So we can do that, right?
Yeah. Okay. Because, that got to do interviews with the candidates. Let's sit down and let Kamala's positions be clear. Let me be clear on these positions. And there were 4 categories that we got to vote on. Yes?
Yes, that's correct. I want you to know that I had to film a Kamala video yesterday, so she's right here.
Okay. All right. And you got the cameos going still?
Yeah. I have cameos going. Let's be very clear. I have merch that you can buy, right? I have all of it, right? So and here's the thing. I believe that it is so important that we continue to build each other up and build community. And so we can do that by getting a cameo.
Yes. Thank you, Vice President Harris. And it is very important that we build the Survivor community up. And I think this is a great way to do it. Now, Vice President Harris, they were letting us vote on the colors of the buffs. Did you happen to see the buff colors that were put out there? Did you have an opinion on that? One was blue, orange, and green. Then there was orange, teal, and purple. Right. One was green, red, and yellow.
Well, here's the thing. If I had to endorse one, I would certainly do the blue, right? For the Democratic Party, right?
Yeah.
So I would say whichever one has blue. What were the other colors?
So one has blue, orange, and green, but one is kind of teal. I don't know if it's really, Democratic Party teal.
Right.
So blue, orange, and green. You endorse.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah. Green new buffs.
Okay. Yeah. Green. Well. Let's be clear. We have to bring some green back because we out of the Green New Deal. So in place of the Green New Deal, we should bring back green buffs, right?
Okay, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Okay. All right. Now let's really get down to the serious issues of Vice President Harris. Okay. Should the players get rice in Survivor 50?
I think that the players will exist in the context of all in which they live and what came before them, right? Because they didn't just fall out of a coconut tree, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think they should be
And
unburdened.
there are coconuts that fell out of the coconut tree.
Right? There will be coconuts there, but they will not be the coconut that falls, right? They're better than that. And so when it comes to rice, I think that it is important that they unburden them from the rice, because they should work hard to ensure that they win with the most difficult chances, because that is what the people want to see. They want to see people fight to the end. And with rice, it just gives them an advantage. So I think unburdening from the rice is the right move.
Okay, you want to see a level the playing field, no rice in season 50 of Survivor.
That's right. Make them work for it. Make them work for it.
Okay. No handouts of the rice.
No handouts. No handouts. Not in this administration.
All right. Vice President Harris, this is a very serious question. A lot of fans have not liked how they have instituted Final Four firemaking after season 35 of Survivor. Should there be a Final Four firemaking challenge in season 50?
Well, I think that the Final Four firemaking challenge, right? It gives the power back to the people. And when we really look at it, it is important for the people to have the power. Now, when I was a district attorney, right, lawyer, prosecutor, I always said 5 words: Kamala Harris for the people. And so if you are Final 5 and you feel like you're on the bottom, you have a chance to earn your way to the Final Four, or to not just be voted out. So I think it should stay.
Respectfully, Vice President Harris, that don't you feel, though, that to have the entire game be about voting people out on Survivor up to a certain point is a little bit not in the spirit of the game, to then have a completely different rule when you get to the Final Four?
I mean, here's the thing, right? If by that point you have not done the work necessary to secure a win based on the social acumen that you have bestowed, right, for the rest of the game, then it doesn't really matter. So it's one vote, and it gives power to the person who may need it. It's just like an advantage. It's just like any other part of the game that could shake things up. And you have to figure out the strategy necessary of who's going to make fire and why. So it's not just about giving a person power, but who gets to decide and who gets to participate in that power.
Okay. And the last question, do you think they should bring the live reunion show back to Los Angeles or keep it in Fiji?
Now, I think it should be in Fiji. I'm just joking.
You got me. You did get me on that one.
No, I think the people want to see.
You're from California.
And I'm from Oakland, right? I'm from the Bay all day. Let's be clear. But I think it's important for the people to see everyone, right? Not just those who have made it past merge, but those who have existed before, and to also give fans and those alike an opportunity to convene and watch it play out live and in color. So I think that that's what the people have spoken. And I believe that the people are right. It's a democracy. And if that's what they vote for, that's what I believe is right.
But you don't think that the fans should then say which Survivor players looked better on the island, right?
If if that's what the fans want, right? I say for 50,
they should be able to
let them have it, right? If that's what they want, just let them have it.
Okay, I respect the opinion.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing, right? We have so much more in common than what separates us, right? And so I think the thing that's separating us right now is that the fans want something, and maybe the production wants something else. And if we could merge, pun intended, right, those two
Yeah.
things together, we could be a better community, a coalition, right? And that's what we need to get through.
Is there anything that should be on the ballot that we have not yet gotten to vote on?
I think we should vote for whether or not which advantages, right? That's what I'm excited for. What stays, what goes, what will come back. I'm excited about that. That's what I think I want to see next.
Okay. Vice President Harris, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Okay. Freedom.
Yeah. Okay.
Freedom.
That was great. Now, Tevin, were those your positions, or your positions may vary from that of Vice President Harris?
No, I think they might vary a little bit, but I pretty much agree with all of that. I definitely think that the reunion should. That was so stupid. I think that the reunion should be live. I think that's what the people have been asking for, and I think that is excellent. I think.
But you agree with Vice President Harris that the fans should be able to say who looked better on the island versus how they look at the reunion show?
No.
Okay, that was her position.
Right. Yeah. No. She needs to. Kamala believes in democracy.
She was a little out of pocket for that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, they don't need to bring that back because I think that causes a lot more problems than it's worth.
Because you were at the one in Fiji.
What'd you say?
You went to the reunion show in Fiji. You didn't go to and did you eat a lot of pizza during the Survivor 46 reunion show?
Oh my God, I didn't eat a lot of it. I think I had either one or two slices. But I hate it. There's like a loose crumb from the pizza that like is right here on my cheek during the entire filming of that reunion show. So when you watch it, you just see like a crumb. That's my humble trait. That crumb on my lip for that entire episode is my humble trait.
You know, I was talking to a friend of mine about the different things that you could vote on. And I had said to this person that, you know, I would say that if I was going to try to make the case for keep it in Fiji, I would say the one thing that you could say is at your reunion show, okay, after it got revealed that Maria didn't vote for Charlie, we got to see in real time, Charlie found out that Maria didn't vote for him. And I said that would, to me, was the only reason I could think of to say keep it in Fiji, because had your season had a normal reunion, that, okay, Charlie probably finds out somewhere along the way Maria didn't vote for him, and Charlie gave a perfect answer there, but it would have happened off screen, and that's the one argument. But my friend said to me, well, yeah, but Charlie probably in the 10 months that happen between when they film it and when it airs probably has like a pretty good zinger locked and ready to go in Los Angeles when it happens. And so I'd rather see that. I'd rather see, what does Charlie come into the finale to say, because he knows what question Jeff's going to ask him. So I guess you don't get the authentic moment, but maybe you get better television eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I think it is interesting, but I see, a lot of fans, I think they were like, they didn't like that. They didn't want to see.
No, I don't like it either. I just was saying the one moment that I could, one argument I could make.
Yeah, I can see that. But yeah, I think live in Fiji live in LA. And also I've been saying for a while, like, yeah, the people before merge, like we don't get to see them. But I want to, I want to hear from Jelinski. I want to hear what was Randon's thoughts when, I want to hear everybody together, which I think is also therapeutic for the tribe too. Like it's therapeutic, or the group, all 18 people together. Just like, let's talk about it openly. Let's all get one story together. And let's just talk about it in, the public eye. So I hope that they do that.
We can't have the last ever Survivor live reunion show to be season 39. That can't be the answer to the trivia question.
Oh my God. Is that the last? Oh my God.
I was there.
They didn't do, because it was COVID for 40.
COVID.
Wow.
Yeah. And we really got robbed. COVID took a lot of things from us, but the season 40 reunion show would have been amazing.
Have you thought about doing merchandise that says "Get robbed"?
Get robbed
with a little ski mask.
So all right. So I'm open to it. So it's it's me in a mask, and you're like, hey, like stick them up. You get robbed.
Not that you put the Rob as the podcast bell on it, but you in a ski mask, and it just says "Get robbed." You hitting the bell.
Look, I'm open to it. Yeah. All right. Let's see if we can make that work. All right. Well, Tevin, this was so fun to get to catch up with you on everything. Anything else that's on your mind?
Where is my? I threw everything when I had to gather up. I had to gather up Miss Kamala. I don't even know where it's right here. I want to make sure I got all my notes done. But I think that we covered pretty much everything. I did want to say, I think they learned nothing from Hunter when he was throwing the basketballs underhand. Mitch got it, but I was like, everybody's trying to shoot like LeBron James. Throw it underhand. Underhand.
You don't have to look cool.
You don't have to look cool. Just
it'll
throw
look cool when you win the challenge.
That's it. Mary said, okay, my God, to be sure. I'm just going through everything. Big threat, pre-tribal, Mitch, Ava, yay. Throw it underhand, yay. Cedric treated like a needle.
Treated like a needle. Oh, the pool cue, the thing.
Yeah, I was like, you're a surgeon. You need to be precise about this. You not putting me under and putting me on no table when you can't even hold a buoy up. I treated like a needle. He doesn't
have to be on a balance beam when he does the surgery.
I don't know. Maybe they need to start making surgeons get on the balance beam. I need to know that your hand is steady. Mm-hmm. I'm scared. I said Star and Kamilla gave Liz and Mariah during one of those challenges we had when they were talking back and forth in the midst of, people working. The dive. We didn't talk about Kevin's dive.
Yes.
That is the funniest thing to ever exist on television.
Yeah. I didn't know so many people were ready to critique all the dives.
The dives were great.
Since when are we dive shaming?
The world's taken a turn since January 20th. But Shaheen and David dive beautiful dives. I mean, like mermaid.
Shaheen is on the dive team. It was amazing.
Oh my God, just so good. But other than that, those were just a couple things that I remember from the episode. But other than that,
actually, I talked to Kevin about this today, and he was saying that part of the issue was, his shoulder, affected how he was diving into the water, because he said that, when he was jumping in, it was hurting him. So he had a not so graceful dive.
I mean, even to open your eyes in salt water is nefarious. That is a wild thing to do. It burns so bad, and they're fully open. I don't know how they do that.
Yeah. Okay.
But those are my thoughts.
You watching anything else good these days?
I am about to catch up on Traders because I'm a little bit behind because I've been a little busy. So I'm about to watch
big finale tonight.
Yes. So I'm really trying to catch up. I'm gonna be spoiled, but it's fine. But this season, I'm just ready to lock in. What else?
You would be great on the Traders, Tevin.
I want to go. I think maybe last time we talked, I don't remember, but I was in a space where I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to do other, I'm kind of good with Survivor. That's my dream. But I'm in a space now where I'm like, yeah, I would go have the most fun doing Traders.
Sure. Kevin, in the meantime, would you play RHAP Traders if we did it again?
Yes.
Sam, lock him up.
I was real busy this time.
Yes.
I was real busy this time. But yes, so I'm watching a little reality TV. I'm taking a bit of a reality TV pause because I've been in the cycle for a year and some change, really, with me playing and then flying all around. So I'm taking a bit of a rest from it, but I'm getting back into it now. Other than that, I'm just watching regular old stuff on Netflix, Hulu, stuff like that. And I'm spending a lot of time getting my Kamala Harris stuff together. If y'all ain't seen my RHAPs, my new Kamala Harris raps. You should go watch them. They will be on Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff very soon.
Wow, you're dropping a Kamala album?
I am. So when Kamala lost, a lot of people thought that I was going to fall off. But people needed me, and I was like, I'm gonna keep going. And now I started taking raps and then remixing them and making them my own.
But Tevin, can I give you a suggestion?
Yes.
I think you need to do a Trump impression too. I think you need to do, and then you can do.
Quite frankly.
Yeah. I think you could do it. I think you could do it. Imagine the collaborations you could be making. You could heal the nation, Tevin.
I don't think existing as the Tevin don't. I wish him well.
You don't have to do it now. I'm saying that this is a great idea.
Kamala. He's so interesting. Rob, I will think about that very deeply while I sleep. Do
you think your fans would feel betrayed if then you did a Trump impersonation also and did cameos?
I think I would be betrayed to exist as such a flippant, floppy, frowsy, foot dragging, scallywag, old. I want to do this on your show. I'm trying to be good. Kamala's doing good. The raps are doing really good. SZA, seen it, shared it. Lin-Manuel Miranda saw my one I did of Hamilton recently. You should go watch it. I got the stamp of approval from Lin-Manuel, Jasmine Crockett, so it's doing good.
Don't let me be a fly in the ointment, okay? You have good ideas.
But who knows? Quite frankly, we'll see what happens. I might just start doing it. I got to get a blonde wig.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Just throwing it out there. All right, Tevin, let me tell everybody else what's coming up here on RHAP. We've got, hold on, wrong thing. I hit the wrong thing. Oh, no, I made Tevin small. Okay, this is the one I want. This is what I want.
There you go.
Okay, there you go. All right, We Know Survivor. Of course, you can check out everything else we have going on. The exit interview, the know-it-alls, my interview with Sophie, Club Condo. You'll hear it all. We Know Survivor, or just go to getrhap.com. Tomorrow, Owen Knight is going to be stepping in for me on the Q&A. Every week, we let the patrons ask me questions about Survivor. I'm going to be headed to South by Southwest this weekend. And so Owen is going to be jumping in for me. He'll be live at 3 p.m. Eastern. Good week to ask Owen your strategy questions about Survivor 48. Patrons, you'll get the link on Thursday night. That's at robhasawebsite.com/patron. Then, of course, we've got Tevin, come join the group chat over on Chat BCC, not what they used to make Shrek 5, okay? Go to robhasawebsite.com/VIP chat to join for free and see what a whole bunch of survivors are chatting about. And then, of course, check out our Patreon. Survivor is better when you're part of a tribe. And so you can join us for the community and all of the content at robhasawebsite.com/patron, where we are talking about the 15-year anniversary of Survivor Heroes versus Villains. One of Tevin's favorites, Cerie Fields, 15 years ago this week, was voted out of Survivor Heroes versus Villains. Josh and I talked about it over on the Patron feed. And then tonight, it's the big finale of The Traitors. We will have all of our coverage. I believe we'll be live at 11 o'clock Eastern. Put the coffee on tonight, Tevin, because it's going to be a late night for your boy, talking about the big Traitors Season 3 finale. Let me take it off the screen so Tevin doesn't even see who's left as we get to the finals of The Traitors. All right, Tevin.
So excited.
Great job by you. I love always getting to talk with you. I think you have such great insight into everything, and you always are so interesting and so talented to talk to. So it's a treat for me, Tevin.
Thank you, Rob. It's a treat to be here. I really appreciate it. Every time you reach out, I'm like, yes, of course, Rob, anything. So I appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Thank you all so much. We love to read what you have to say in the comments. Just, keep it cute, everybody. All right. So
keep it mute.
Keep it cute or keep it mute. That's great. That should be the merch. Yeah.
I'm on it. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down.
Right. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
This is RHAP. We Know Reality TV.